So one other thing I want to say is that, you know, it said that no one is perfect. We all have flaws, that is there. Another thing is that it's important for us to choose our battles. It's not all battles we will fight. You have to select your battles. You have to select your battles. The reason is that if you don't select your battles, you are going to waste a lot of energy on things that you should not have wasted so much energy on. That's one. Then two, you are going to turn people who are supposed to be on your side against you. So in that instance, you select your battles. The way you will address, if there is an issue, let's say you have someone in your family, there's an issue, the way you will address it will likely be different from someone that is not a family member or someone who is a stranger. The way you address it will be different. And as such, there are things that will happen within the family circle that you're not likely to go online and talk about it because you consider it something private, right? And so, but if it's someone that is not really within the family circle, someone that's a stranger, turn on your ring lights and talk about it, all well and good. The point is that Harrison is doing in the same line of work as Very Dark Man. They are doing the same kind of thing. Activism. Social activism. And they are doing it in different areas, different aspects. Harrison is focusing on those who have been taken into the bush, those who have been forced to bring out money. We've had situations whereby it's been alleged that security personnel at a checkpoint collected some money from some people. And we see Harrison getting involved and making sure that those people get their money, right? So he has been involved in that, and he has been involved in rescue of those who are taken into the bush, So that is his own aspect. We know Very Dark Man has been very well involved in exposing fraud, in exposing people who collect money under false pretenses, people who enter into an agreement to, okay, I'm going to give you so money, you give me land, you give me this, give me that. And when those people renege on what they're supposed to do and they complain to VDM will take it up. So you take up cases, people who feel defrauded and stuff like that. And we've seen through his NGO is making efforts to provide borehole to communities and repair classrooms and stuff like that. So there are different aspects of activism. Just like you have journalist activists. You have journalist activists. There are those that will go undercover to prison, to uncover what is going on in the prison. Some go undercover and travel through the borders and see how porous the border is. Some go undercover and find out fraud in schools where they will go and get certificates without attending a school. So that is another kind of activism. Journalists, investigative journalists, activism. That one is another aspect. Then you have people who are activists in the political space. There you have people who are very much against the government and who are seeking, to get candidates who would go out and defeat the government. You have kind of political activists. You have like a senator who make a stance in the Senate, kind of like an activism. And you have activists, who are active in the political space. So you have different activists in different areas, in different aspects. And so if Harrison is doing his own, VDM is doing his own. So if, let's say, like when VDM was arrested, right? And he was arrested because of what he does through his activism, right? Harrison was one of those who was seeking for his release, asking that he be released and all that, because they are doing the same thing. He can easily put himself in the shoes of Very Dark Man and see, oh, the way he's doing his own, somebody can still pick him up. I know he fought for Very Dark Man. He fought, was among those that were supporting the outcry for Very Dark Man to be released. So in this instance, if this family came to you, Very Dark Man, that effort was made to release their relations in captivity, some money were missing, the husband was not released and all that, they came to you. Being that Harrison is someone, people are doing the same kind of work. I saw when this fish guy was the unfortunate demise of the fish guy, and when VDM went to Anambra State, I saw them together, So this one that has happened now, these people came to Very Dark Man and they told you that this is what happened. What I would have expected is that Very Dark Man, haven't heard from the victims' relations, haven't heard from the police, was to call Harrison. Because it happens where there are situations whereby people have spoken to Very Dark Man that, oh, so person seemed to have collected money from me, he didn't deliver on this, and Very Dark Man contacts the person and say what's going on, and the issue can be settled even without bringing it to social media. It has happened, and Very Dark Man has said as much that has happened. So in this instance, what could have happened was Very Dark Man reaching out to Harrison and say, this is what the family is saying, this is what is going on, and now see how the issue can be resolved, especially with the fact that one of the victims is still in the bush. They would have looked for ways to resolve the issue without bringing it out to social media. Now, to be fair, Very Dark Man said he told the relations not to go public, but then one of them went public. Now, having gone public, that doesn't mean that VDM has to also come public. No. If, okay, you call the police have invited Harrison is in custody, then you can wait for it to play out. The fact that a family member has spoken about it doesn't mean that you two will now come out and speak about it, because it now appears that it was only when he was arrested that Very Dark Man now felt, okay, let me talk about it. That's what it now looks like. But if it's the issue could have been settled outside of the public limelight, the person who made the first video calling out Harrison, he has made the video, nothing can be done about that. But there was no need to escalate it. The more recent video he said was that him escalating it, him coming out in public, was so as to let, if those in the bush have access to social media and they see the message, he wants to pass the message that, oh, see, the person who took the money is Harrison is in custody, that the family members have nothing to do with the money being missing, and stuff like that. That is the purpose, which is really somehow, because there were ways of communication between those in the bush and the victim's family. There were ways of communication, and that could have been used. But even if at that okay, you want to make it known that there's an issue, you could simply just say something. There's a way if you want to address an issue, without necessarily trying to bring down the man Harrison. You could make it out that there is a situation, the victim's family thought the money was complete. The money was not complete. There's a situation, the victim's family are not responsible for that. You can make that. There was no need of trying to bring down Harrison, saying, oh, you thought Harrison has changed, trying to make it okay, he has had several issues like this in the past, and make it look as if, oh, his weakness is money, and now try to bring down his credibility, especially in recent times, as I've learned that people are making donations to the cause that Harrison is fighting. And so trying to now say Harrison's problem is money, and this is somebody who is doing a work of activism like an NGO and require support from people, require donations from people. And so when you now make it like, oh, he has problem with money, then it becomes an issue, So back to the point I'm trying to make, that select your battles. What do I mean by this? Since Harrison is doing the same line of work as VDM, and VDM should not have taken the approach to Harrison as it takes the approach to other people. The approach should have been different. Should have seen Harrison as a colleague, Harrison as a family person, as say somebody from the same region, somebody doing the same line of work, somebody who is in constant communication, somebody who respects you and speak well of you in public. Should have used that line and say, okay, let me see how I can resolve this issue without coming to the public, without bringing it to limelight. It's like a brother to you, VDM. And as such, you shouldn't have taken it up like this. Remember this story in Things Fall Apart, Ikemefuna and Okonkwo. When Okonkwo was told that Ikemefuna calls you father, do not contribute to his debts. Don't contribute to his debt because he calls you father. Meaning this person is family. Meaning that the person is family, you should not be the one laying hands on him, leading to his demise. And why this one is important, it reminds me of the case of Fina and Fina's sister. Remember then, Fina's sister was hit by a truck owned by Dangote Cement, and she sustained severe life-threatening injuries, and eventually she died. She passed on from those injuries. Now, at the point, Fina approached VDM and saying they are from Edo, from Edo State, they are from the same state. Fina has defended VDM in the past when VDM has faced online criticism, So she took the issue to Very Dark Man about the sister who was injured, fighting for her life, A Very Dark Man became involved in it. But somewhere along the line, there were disagreements. Now, with no disagreement, VDM should have seen Fina as a sister. This is my sister. My sister, the sister to this, my sister, is injured, severely injured, and she needs help. And then something happened. I decided not to look at the intricacies, the details of all that, because Fina is somebody I like. Fina, I like Very Dark Man, And so when I heard his sister was injured like that, I felt really very bad, And when I saw the whole situation playing out, at that time, if I remember correctly, it was Very Dark Man who brought the disagreement online. Yes, he Fina spoke to him, he went to Edo State and tried to raise the awareness about the danger of the trucks and the roads, and I saw they build speed breaks and all that, to provide some level of safety to those pedestrians and all of that. At the point, he felt that Fina did something that she was not supposed to do. Fina used his name to get something. One would have thought that would have considered Fina's state. Fina, the sister, is very sick, has severe injuries. Sister is in the hospital. And if you know of anyone, I work in the health sector, if you see anyone that has a family member has severe injuries and a severe disease, a severe illness in the hospital, the person can be confused. People will be saying or giving the person all manner of advice. It can really be confusing. Some things that some people do when their loved one are ill in the hospital, they do it out of pressure and stress. It's not really their intention, right? Some of the things they'll say it out of frustration because of seeing the condition of their loved one. And so when you hear them say certain things, you should understand this person's sister is still in the hospital. The sister still needs help. So if Fina had said something or had did something which you did not like, it's not supposed to be a ring light matter, social media matter. It's supposed to be something you call Fina and you talk to Fina. Even if you quarrel or whatever, let that stay off social media. And now wait for the sister to have some kind of help. But at the point I watched the video, because I watched a number of VDN's video. At the point she said, he doesn't want to really talk about it, but he doesn't like what Fina did and stuff like that. So he tried to make the case, he tried to suggest that Fina did something. And of course, Fina had to respond. Fina, she won Big Brother Nigeria. I know the kind of trolling that goes on with that, and they have to fight people insulting them and stuff like that. So having insinuated that she did something wrong, Fina had to come out and defend herself, and then there was this back and forth, which was unfortunate. That you'll be having a back and forth with someone whose sister is still very sick in the hospital. Somebody who is your sister, she's a sister, like a sister to you. Her loved one was still very sick in the hospital, and you are on social media going at it with the person, going at it with providing receipts. That wasn't necessary. At the end of the day, the sister lost her life. And then look at this situation. Imagine that you know someone, right? And the person considers you like a brother. And then the person has a serious issue. In process of trying to resolve the issue, you people now start quarreling and fighting. When the main issue was still at stake. The person will hardly forget about it. If, like Fina now, Fina will not forget it. That when her sister was alive, when her sister was struggling for life, she was being dragged endlessly online. That was a fight that was not necessary. That is one of the things I mean by you pick your battles. If you've picked a battle with Iyabo Ojo and other people, you should not have taken that same level of animosity or a fight between you and somebody who sees you like a brother. That shouldn't be. And so at that point, I really felt disappointed, because It wasn't nice at all that Fina's sister was still in the hospital and she was being dragged endlessly. And that provided no help at all for the sister who was sick. In this instance now, this Harrison's issue, the victims, the family of the victim is still in captivity. And now you raise the issue, no one now is focusing on how that man will be released. All the talk now is on Harrison, what Harrison did, what Harrison did not do. Taking away all the attention and the focus on how that person is supposed to be rescued and how that person can be brought out of the bush. So you see that this fight now was badly timed. It was not necessary. It wasn't necessary that this thing would have been fought online. It was something that could have been settled behind the scenes. Or something that could have been settled. The person, I've seen videos where the person who made the first video has made other videos announcing Harrison being arrested, made videos of money was sent to him and all of that. That person that made that initial video now is not focusing on the victim in the bush. He's no longer talking about the victim in the bush. He's not saying other things. I saw a video where he said he wants to do a protest, about the insecurity. It has not addressed the person in the bush. It hasn't. So you see how badly timed, how ill-timed, how unnecessary this public fight has been. And that is the point I'm trying to make. You have to select your battles. You can't fight everybody. There are some people that should be in your corner. Somebody who is doing activism and you're in the same line of work should be in your corner. There should not be rivalry or envy or stuff like that.